We are just 4 weeks from the NFL starting back up and having actual games, and we all can't wait to watch our favorite teams play. With that being said, there will be the players we expect to perform at elite levels that we've grown accustomed to seeing them perform, but there will also be several breakout players from every division that we either don't see coming or we didn't think they would be this good this early. It happens every year, and I've done 2 videos already on this with the AFC West and the AFC South, and we will be discussing the NFC West in today's video. Now, before we get started, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now let's begin. And we start today's video in Los Angeles to discuss rookie running back Cam Akers. Cam comes to the Rams as a second-round pick and the heir to Todd Gurley's throne. In his time at Florida State, he averaged nearly 5 yards per carry, had nearly 3,000 yards rushing, and had 27 rushing touchdowns, with 14 coming in his junior year. Akers is in a good situation to break out in 2020 for a few reasons. The first being he will be the #1 running back in that offense, and we saw in 2018 with Todd Gurley just how many touches the feature back gets, as he had 315 on his way to winning the Offensive Player of the Year award. Now, to be 100% clear before anyone comments, I'm not expecting Akers in year 1 to be an 1,800 total yard, 21 touchdown player like Todd was in 2018, but I don't think it's out of the question for him to have more than 1,300 total yards this year. I do think Cam could be similar to what Todd was last year though, as he had some knee problems and still rushed for 12 touchdowns on just 3.8 yards per carry. Whether or not the Rams give Akers the opportunity Gurley had is another thing, and I think over the course of time they will, but he may start out with a few bad games statistically in 2020 just because of the lack of opportunity. Gurley had 6 of his 12 rushing touchdowns in division games last year, and that bodes well for Cam heading into the year. Now, I don't think he will have great games against San Francisco, but for him to have 115 yards and a score against Arizona definitely wouldn't surprise me. Cam had 30 catches in 11 games for the Seminoles last year, which would translate to about 45 catches for a full 16-game season. He will be a productive player and really break out in his rookie season. I would expect this production to be a little better than what Miles Sanders had for Philadelphia last year, and Akers will be a solid fantasy selection for 2020 and a great dynasty pick throughout the entirety of the dynasty. And next is a guy I've been high on since his rookie year, and that's Seahawks tight end Will Dissly. Unfortunately, his season has prematurely ended twice in 2 seasons, and Will enters 2020 with 31 catches, 418 yards, and 6 touchdowns to his name. He has played in 10 career games, and equating his stats to a full 16-game season, he would have 50 catches for 670 yards and 9.6 touchdowns, so rounding it up, 10 touchdowns. Now, tight ends generally take longer to develop than most positions, and I think that's a big reason why Will Dissly can be a stud in 2020, assuming he stays healthy. There's no team in the NFL that would turn down a 50, 670, and 10 stat line from a tight end, with maybe the Chiefs and 49ers as exceptions. Will has been very productive when he's been on the field, and although that's been a challenge for him, if he plays 16 games this year, I'm confident he will be very productive. He caught 85% of the targets that were thrown his way last year, and although it was only 23 of 27, that's a stat to get behind and a reason I'm excited about him. He also plays the Cardinals twice per year, and they were known to give up big games to tight ends in 2019, and Isaiah Simmons may have something to say about that going forward, but I do think that's another reason to get excited for Dissly. Between him and DK Metcalf being big-bodied targets, they will cause problems for defenses in 2020, especially in the red zone. Now, I don't think Dissly will be an 80-catch, 1,300-yard tight end like another tight end in the division is, but I do think he can be a 55-catch, 750-yard, 8-touchdown guy. The key here is health, and if he can play even 14 games, he will prove to be a great breakout player. And next we go to San Francisco to discuss rookie defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw. Kinlaw was a first-round pick from the University of South Carolina, and his final 2 years there, he had 15 tackles for a loss and 10 sacks. For an NFL rookie, Kinlaw walks into an almost perfect situation for him to produce because of the players around him. We know how good of a player Nick Bosa is, and he proved that during the final 8 games last year, and he definitely proved that in the postseason. Not only is Bosa on the defensive line, but Eric Armstead is too, and these guys will simply take on more blockers than Kinlaw will as a rookie. Javon won't be shown the respect the other two will early on, and understandably so. And as an offensive coordinator, I would much rather double team Nick Bosa or give him a chip from a tight end than send both my guard and center towards Kinlaw and have a tackle go one-on-one with Bosa. Because of this, I expect Bosa's numbers to remain the same or ever so slightly improve, because he probably won't be a 15-sack guy because of the attention he'll receive from the opposing offensive line. This is a major reason why Kinlaw will break out and succeed as a rookie, because he will receive a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and having played in the SEC last year, he has a good idea of how rigorous the NFL season can be. Over time, he will prove to be a good player, and that starts with a breakout season in 2020. Next is Isaiah Simmons of the Cardinals, who was a great defensive prospect they drafted at 8th overall. Isaiah wowed everyone when he ran a 4.39 40 at the combine, had a 39-inch vertical leap, and an 11-foot broad jump. He walks into a situation that's good for him to succeed and break out in 2020, and here's why. The Cardinals' defense in 2019 was not good, as they gave up the 5th most points in the league and the most yards in the entire NFL. They forced just 17 turnovers, which is tied for 6th fewest in the league, and when you play in a division with Russell Wilson, a team as good as the 49ers, and Jared Goff, it's not surprising they had just 5 wins. The Cardinals' defense was so bad in 2019 as a whole that they can really only go up. Now, I would imagine they use Simmons like a Swiss Army knife and have him be everywhere, as that's what he did in his final year at Clemson, and it paid off as he was a unanimous All-American. Simmons can defend the run and cover tight end, and there's a tight end in their division that's pretty good, so I would imagine a big reason drafting Simmons, though not the only reason, was to stop number 85 on the 49ers. He will be ready to break out in year 1 and bring the winning culture to Arizona, as he was a national champion in his redshirt sophomore year at Clemson and lost just 1 game during his junior year. He also was the conference's Defensive Player of the Year and was the Butkus Award winner. The Cardinals will 100% be using him to play everywhere, and Isaiah will break out in 2020. And we wrap today's video up in San Francisco to discuss running back Jerick McKinnon. This is an unusual player compared to the players I'd normally discuss, because I normally discuss young players, but Jerick is entering his 7th season, but this career has been up and down. He played behind Adrian Peterson in 2015, split time with Matt Asiata and other players in 2016 and 17, and then signed with San Francisco that following offseason. Since then, though, he has missed every game with injuries, and if he's healthy this year, he can break out. He is a great running back for head coach Kyle Shanahan's system, and with the 49ers trading Matt Breida this offseason, this is where McKinnon can step up. He averaged 4 yards per carry during his time in Minnesota, but in 2016 and 17, he averaged just 3.6 yards per carry behind an abysmal offensive line. With the system Kyle has, and how well Jerick fits the system, he could easily average 4.6 or more yards per carry and prove to be a breakout player even in his 7th season. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you did. I always take video suggestions. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.